And I believe that you may say you don't want border control and you're against ICE, but I actually don't believe you in your daily lives. How many people in the audience here had to go through security to get here? Raise your hand. Just be honest. Otherwise, you go to jail, I guess, for illegal trespassing, right? This is an authorized audience. They had to go through security to get through the border to get right here to just hear us talk.
I've always said I'll never watch The View again. And I think all of us have kind of promised each other, like, here, pinky promise, I'm not going to do it ever again. Unless they do what would be the right business move, which would be to make Elisabeth Hasselbeck a fat 8-figure offer to come back on the show years after I believe she did step away. She left and then came here to Fox to do Fox and Friends. And when she came to Fox, I mean, it was like she'd been kicked when she was down times 1,000. Like, it was almost like abuse over there at The View. And she came here and loved it. And eventually the hours took its toll. What she has done this week on The View has been absolutely incredible to watch. She's so smart. She's so well-spoken. She's so clear with her points. And she does it with strength, but firmness and kindness as well.
I think all lives matter to God. And we're in uncommon times, so we need to have uncommon sense about things like this. Yes, there will be mistakes made, but I think if Kristi Noem were up for promotion right now and she put forward the statistics that 0 illegals released into the U.S. for 10 months straight have not crossed, okay, that nearly 3 million aliens have left the United States, that we have the lowest murder rate in 125 years, that fentanyl trafficking is down 56% at the border, and daily encounters have gone down 96%. Hang on one second. We need a strong border, especially now with our current global situation. And I believe that you may say you don't want border control and you're against ICE, but I actually don't believe you in your daily lives. How many people in the audience here had to go through security to get here? Raise your hand. Just be honest. Otherwise, you go to jail, I guess, for illegal trespassing, right? This is an authorized audience. They had to go through security to get through the border to get right here to just hear us talk. We need strong borders more than ever right now. We are being infiltrated.
But listen, can I give you
on the border when Renee Good and Alex Peretti were murdered, and death is not a mistake. That was a murder. No,
that is a murder.
Now let me finish.
As were those killed by illegal immigrants.
Let's not
murder.
And to see her friends on the set, like, cringe and get uncomfortable and try to interrupt, and then she shuts them down, and then have to go to commercial break quickly. Because why? Because she's spitting facts, and they've never allowed someone to come in there since her, really, and do it. Meghan McCain, and we know what happened with Meghan, and she was out, and it was torture for her as well. Elisabeth has something that's different. I'll shut up after this. She has friendships with Joy, with Whoopi. I don't know with Anna and Sunny and there's newer people. Oof. There are genuine friendships and relationships with Rosie O'Donnell, right? I mean, that was an issue for a long time, obviously, with Elisabeth, but they might not like what she believes, but they respect her. And you could feel it with what she said this week. That's the only way I'll do anything other than watch a clip of The View. What do you guys think? Would they be?
Well, the other thing jumped out at me is when Joy called her a roller derby queen or something for being so firm. And I thought, oh my God, how could she doesn't hear herself, how she rails on people. I thought Elisabeth was very
bitch.
Yeah.
She's such a bitch, and she's been a bitch for years. I used to deal with her back in the Biggest Loser days when she would go after me because, you know, she was overweight and unhealthy and just a crotchety old bitchy broad. She's a bitch, and she's always been a bitch. Sorry, Doc.
Joe, how do you feel about her, though? Tell me how you feel.
Express yourself. Don't hold it in.
Well, the point is that they just don't seem to hear themselves and the way they rail on people. And Elisabeth actually was, as you said, sort of kind, but direct and firm. She was not abusive in any way.
Do you think who would do it? Do you think they would have someone that is that respected and strong come back?
I think talk is out. I think it's on its last legs. It would be if they'd done it a year ago, they might have gotten another couple of years out of it, but I don't know.
They might, because it's the only thing that keeps Abby Phillips show on.
I do think it's possible they will bring her back. I don't know that she'll want to do it, but I used to watch The View when I was doing stand-up at night and then odd jobs during the day. I would watch The View. This is like, when she was on with Rosie way back when, and Barbara Walters was still basically the main moderator. And that, if you remember, during the Iraq War and Obama, Hillary Clinton. That's when the show started to get crazy and the fighting. Because before that, it was very pleasant. And it was sort of interesting. You know, Barbara Walters deserves a lot of credit. You know, we were all talking in boxes for a living. Barbara had this idea, could we take these different people of different ages, different ethnicities, sit them down and do it civilly? And then you could see by the time Barbara was stepping away, she was very disappointed in what the show had become. It was very obvious.
Yeah.
But do you guys remember, I watched it live. I think it was around 2011, maybe 12, when Rosie and Elisabeth Hasselbeck got into a fight, and they immediately went to split screen. And they're fighting, and Rosie was, and I was more of a lefty at the time, so in some sense I agreed with Rosie more than I agreed with Elisabeth, but Rosie was just frothing at the mouth and, you know, crazy. And Elisabeth, whether I agreed with her or not, she calmly explained herself. You know, she's very pretty and put together. Anyway, Rosie then left, right? She just quit. They basically forced Elisabeth out. As Sage points, she ends up at Fox. She is an all-star, and I think Sage said it perfectly. She has been through the battles with them. So even Joy, for everything that Jillian just said about her, she's even looking at her right now. I think she's looking at her right now going, man, look what we birthed. We birthed this all-star right now. Joseph pointed out to me, it's 2007 that happened, not 2011. But
wow.
The point of all of this is she's really freaking good. She's not a pet Republican like Alyssa Farah, who they give a cookie to and they pat her on the head on Friday and say, enjoy your weekend. She knows what she thinks. And Drew, even though you're right about network television as a whole, The View as an institution, it's not going anywhere for now. So they would be very wise to offer those 8 digits to her and see what happens with that show.
She's also so content. She's a beautiful life. She lives in Tennessee. And she's been around. Her kids are older now, though, and really college age, some of them, and maybe close to being. And so it is a different time. She needed a break. She got a very long break, but she's got a good life. She's got such a strong community, such a strong faith. I don't know, like, no matter how much money, do you want to step back into that? Because it is toxic and it does you can't be halfway in. So I would actually be surprised with a huge offer. She does not lead with money.
You know, I think some of you guys might also be friends with Meghan McCain. We're friendly enough. And she has told me just how unbelievably nasty it was and how mean they were and everything else. And Meghan is so, whether you agree with her or not, but just how nasty and mean and awful.
Has anybody been on there? I've been on there. They're not nice.
Well, Joy, I used to see Joy on the Upper West Side. She pet my dog.
Yeah, Joy. I used to have a show ahead of Joy on HLN, and I would watch her show all the time. And I had a great relationship with her when she's by herself.
God.
But you go into that environment and they're being encouraged to do things that are not so great. I've done the show. You forget, Jenny McCarthy was on the show. Debbie, how do you pronounce her? She had a Greek last name.
Magnopoulos.
I mean, there was a very fun environment for a decade. I literally did it at least 30 times. And then it got toxic right when you mentioned it, Dave. And I just stopped. I stopped going in there after that. And then Jill went in.
Vieira,
Jill got a dose
wonderful.
of that. Jill took over.
I wasn't even I was a full-blown lefty. They're just bitchy and mean. And Joy, I had experienced her on her show, and she was bitchy and mean. And what's interesting is that all of these people who project that they're so affable and so likable, whether it's Ellen or it's Rosie or it's Oprah, they are the exact opposite of that in person, let me tell you. Let me tell you, I have experienced it.
You know, Jill.
And I can give you stories, man. They're not.
Jill, Corolla has a thing like anybody who dances in their opening segment. Watch out for that. Bill Cosby.
Right, they all dance.
Ellen. Anybody who's dancing, that's the one. Watch out for.